It is time for the final stage of the T2.5 World Tour. Race number 14 over 6 months. It has flown by. We've had such incredible racing, long races, short races, hilly races, TT races, all sorts. It's been so much fun. Race number 14, I woke up in the morning with a runny nose, a sore throat and a banging headache. I hadn't yet done 8 races, so I thought I'm going to jump on and still do it, see what I can do, and if that just means pootling round, then that is what I will do. Also, I got to the very last sort of lap, I was watching the leaders, and my computer froze. So I lost all of the action for the end of the race. Thankfully, I do have some videos sent in from some of the other riders as well, so we do get to see those. But from what I was hoping was going to be a big, brilliant end to the tour, kind of didn't turn into that because I wasn't feeling great, and then my PC froze anyway. So, hey ho. I'm sorry if there's lots of noise in this video. It is hectic around here. There's so much going on, and my wife is upstairs making an awful lot of room in the room above this. So I'm sorry if you hear lots of banging around in the voiceover for the video. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's catch up with race 14, the final race of the World Tour. The final race, race number 14 of the World Tour, and we're in France, Paris, for the Champs-Élysées, 3 laps. I did briefly think to myself, I wonder actually whether we will take this easily and maybe blast the last lap, but then as soon as I thought of it, I thought, that's not going to happen, because someone will push off the front and then the whole pack will go, and it will just become a normal race. And as I mentioned in the intro, I really wasn't feeling great before this. I've already started well behind the pack, had to put a bit of a blast in there, over 500 watts to try and catch onto the back of the group, which isn't the best start when you're not feeling great. I just wanted to try and hang on for as long as possible. And I know I say that in a lot of my rides and my races, but I just thought I just need to get to the end to get the points to tick off my 8 races. And I knew that if I lost the back of the group, I probably couldn't put a bit of a challenge in. Sometimes when I'm not feeling great, I kind of do better. On the odd occasion, I felt quite tired and not great. But I think this was a bit different. I did have a sore throat and just generally felt pretty naff. And you can see I'm off the back of the group here at the moment. In the D group, we've got Latix, Amott, Crocs, Neil Brandon, C. Bradley, H. Sophocleus, A. Evans, DC Marks, Stewie D, I. Davies, N. Ruddlesden. I think I managed to catch everyone there. Apologies if I missed you. But yeah, you can see I can't put out the power to stay towards the back of this group at all. I think I'll give it another bit of a blast here to try and, you see there, I had a stutter. I had a stutter on my screen, and that should have been a sign of things to come. But I did catch back onto the back of this group. But it didn't last long. We went under that little underground tunnel, and the push, the little bit of a hill that coming out the other side, I could tell pretty instantly that I was not up for this, not feeling it. I didn't have the power in my legs. So I thought, you know what, I am just going to cruise around and take last place, but take the points, see if that moves me anywhere on the leaderboard. And before you know it, you can see the guys off in the distance already, and I thought I'd take the opportunity. I was quite annoyed, really gutted, because this is the last race of the tour. I really wanted to try and be in with the group and enjoy the last race, but yeah, my body had other ideas, and you can see they're well off in the distance now. So it was a chance to skip ahead and watch the rest of the race. So jumping forward to the end of the second lap, one more lap to go. The front of the DCAT are currently on that long climb back up to the top for the turnaround. We've got Amott, DC Marks, N. Ruddlesden together with I. Davies and Latix, and H. Sophocleus a second behind. A little bit of a gap back to Crocs, who's 8 seconds back on that front group. A. Evans, it's 16 seconds back. Neil Brandon a little further back, and then Stewie and C. Bradley together, 53 seconds back. So the D group has actually split a little bit more than some of the other rides. I think the issue that I struggle with, and possibly if I was feeling 100%, and I know I say it every time we race this long, slow slog would just leave me behind. I can't put out the power needed at my size and weight to stay in with the group for long enough up this climb here. So it might have had the similar effect. You got to put in pretty big effort over a prolonged period, just staying with the group. So it might have had the same effect on the rest of the D category, who are just coming up the top to make the turn. And that front group, and Ruddleston's putting out nearly 5 watts a kilo on the front. Sophocles has moved up into second position, but kind of all working together. Well, they're coming together, and I would imagine they'll come a little bit better together as they get towards the top and possibly on the downhill again. And that's exactly what did happen. They all came back together, these 6 or 7 riders here, as they're making the underground tunnel. I wondered actually whether at this point someone would give it a bit of a blast out of the tunnel. It might be a chance if you can get someone to go with you, maybe 2 or another 2 riders with you, and you could hold on. You might be able to bridge a gap, and obviously in a group of 7 that would be half the group, but there's a chance. But it doesn't look like, I mean, there's some power numbers up at 5.3 watts per kilo and 4, but no one at this stage really going for it. And I'm thinking, well, at least I'm going to get the chance to watch this. This is going to be an awesome sprint to the line. We must be into the last kilometre at this stage. Just a little sort of left turn and then the right turn and the sprint to the line. It's the first banner as you kind of go up the long drag. So no need to go up that long drag again, but it is slightly uphill sprint to the line. A little bit further up the road, the group is starting to spread out a little bit. H. Sophocles off the front, 4.3 watts per kilo. I. Davies now taking a turn on the front. A. Mott's just behind. Latix is there as well. And I was really looking forward to watching this sprint to the line. It's come out together a little bit actually at this point. And this is the point where my computer just froze. Thankfully, Andy Mott sent me his footage. Thank you, Andy. So we get to see the sprint, the final 400 metres. DC Mark's out the lead with a couple of bike lengths at the moment, but now we've got H. Sophocles over 6 watts per kilo. I. Davies 7.5. Lots of bigger numbers coming here. Who is going to take the front? I think I. Davies is going to take the front from Daniel at the moment, but can he be caught? Andy Mott 10.5 watts per kilo. That's a long time to go in orange numbers. He takes the lead. Can I. Davies reacts? H. Sophocles back there as well in orange numbers. A. Mott, congratulations, takes the win. Awesome racing to the line. I. Davies second. H. Sophocles in there as well. So pleased I got to see that sprint, having missed it myself. Awesome racing, everybody. And we've got some footage from some of the other categories as well, so let's catch up with those. This is the B category with about a lap and a half left to go. G Moore is off the front by about 7 seconds. But M Way is just putting out a bit of a burst here into orange numbers to try and close that gap. Wondering whether anyone else in the group will do the same. A. Kerr up at 5.5 watts per kilo. C. Green was over 5 watts a kilo for a little bit. But the rest of the group seem pretty content just to sort of stay where they are. M Way does catch G Moore. And they've got a 4-second lead over the rest of the group as they make that left-hand turn before the next left-hand turn to go underneath the underground tunnel. And the group heading out of that tunnel here, and there's now an 8-second gap between them and the guys out the front. John is also in this group, currently putting out orange numbers. He is an ACAT rider. He's the only ACAT rider, so he's riding with the Bs with for a bit of company, but I imagine also trying his best not to affect the results. He's jumped across to those 2 out the front. It's down to 5 seconds now. C. Green, P. Zizou, Chris Jupp, Dearhern, C. Waring as well, Jay Simpson. So some quite strong riders in that group. A. Kerr, Colin, who has provided this footage of 4 minutes off the back. Hopefully everything's all right, Colin. There's some strong riders in this group, so there's a chance to close this group down at the front. Now it's up to 3 riders. Maybe there's a chance to keep that break away. But coming round now to start the long slog up the hill to cross the line to start the final lap. Part way up, and that gap has been closed down to 3 seconds. C. Green was in some higher numbers for a little while there, trying to close the gap. Some of the rest of the group have kind of gone with them, and John has gone off the front. We're watching John at the moment as well. The gap's behind. That's a 4-second gap back to C. Green. Chris Jupp also now 4 watts per kilo with that group behind. The majority actually of that group behind are just riding together still. A little bit strung up the road by the looks of it, but coming towards the steeper part of this little incline here, before turning back. Maybe the group will come back together here. The gap seems to keep changing a little bit. It's back up to 7 seconds now. M-Way off the front. G Moore dropping off slightly. Is now 3 seconds behind. Just 4-second lead over the group. So maybe M-Way taking the opportunity to push on a little bit harder and go really, really early. And by the time they get to the top for the turn again, it's changed a little bit. Chris Jupp and C Green have put in a bit of a burst. They've caught M-Way. G Moore has dropped back into the group, but they've now a 2 to 3 second lead over the main group. Can they make it stick on this flat part before heading back down the hill? I think with 3 of them, just that downhill may be the draft and the group effect of the slight downhill may bring the group itself back together again. And by the time they get back to the bottom of that little decline, you can see the group has come back together again. Pretty much all of the B category back in a group together with half a lap to go. I think this is going to come down to a sprint to the line. Will anybody go early? We'll have a look. But hopefully a bit of a bunch sprint will be nice. So there are a few feather power-ups that were put down just coming out of that underpass before they headed back this way. But there's a little bit of a gap back to Deerhern, G Moore and A Kerr now. I don't know whether that gap might be a little bit too much to cross, as M-Way is slightly further off the front, up at 5 watts per kilo, just for that right-hand turn, about 400 metres from here. M-Way just ahead of C Green. Jay Simpson up in the orange numbers, going for it early. C Green also trying to match. Jay Simpson over 10 watts per kilo is out front at the moment. Who can match that? C Green also in the orange numbers, coming up behind. Well, how big is that gap? We look back to find out that gap is a little bit. Is this attack, early attack on here, going to win it? It is going to take first place in the Bs. M-Way. I was just going to watch these across the line rather than try and attempt to mess up some commentary on them. But awesome racing, everyone. Let's jump and see what we've got in the Cs. The final lap with the C's here then. We've had a couple of attempts off the front, but nothing that's really come to anything. George was trying to push the pace a little while back. We've got John Bushell, George, Jay Rinders, O'Hanel, M. Reed, Craig in there, Jay Lee, Connor Shaw, who sent this footage in. And if that clock in the top middle is correct, 3:32 a.m, that is both insane and amazing. If you're getting up at that time to join our races, that is incredible. Thank you so much, and you're nuts. Absolutely nuts. Fingers crossed. I've not actually watched ahead of this to see where you've come, so fingers crossed you come near the front. M. Gregory in there as well, and M. St. Clair a little further back. Pushing up towards the turnaround point, but still all together as a group. Let's see if it remains that way to the sprint at the end. And it pretty much does stay together. Jay Rinders slightly off the front here as we come into the final 700 metres. Connor up at 5.2 watts per kilo. George as well, 5.4. Any of the guys from behind are going to push up. O'Hanel up at 4.1. Just going to make a little left-hand turn before turning right into the final 400 metres and the sprint to the line. We've got Jay Rinders pushing again here. 5.7, 6.2 watts per kilo, going early possibly. Connor up into the 5s. Anyone behind going to challenge as well. John Bushell, George up into the sort of 4s and 5s. Connor 8.5, orange numbers. That's a bit of a gap there already. Can he close it down? Jay Rinders trying to react. Up at 7s. Connor up into the orange numbers again. Out of the saddle, pushing hard. Is he going to take the win? Getting up early in the morning. I think he's going to take it. Just going to take the win. Jay Rinders. Is George pushing slightly further behind? Who's going to take second? It is taken by Jay Rinders. George probably in third. But let's take a look at the final tables and the final World Tour tables of the 14 races. Having a look at the A category then, John Kerr. There is only one winner here. John taking the full 80 points and winning the A category with 758.5. Ben Bishop taking second, stepping up from the B category partway through with 637, and Noel very sneakily doing one A category race to get classified in the A category results, 598. I wonder what would have been if Eric had hung around and done the remaining races. It'd be good to have you back racing with us at some point, Eric. I hope you're okay. But congratulations to John taking the A-Cat victory. On to the B-Cat. On the day, John Simpson taking the win. Full 70 points in 35.17. Chunky Green couldn't quite catch on the line. Chris Waring just pipping Mark Wade to the post, and some very close results further down as well. The overall B category winner. Huge congratulations to Chris Jupp taking the win, 694 points. I think it was wrapped up before this race. Chris Waring coming in second, 685 points, 685.5. And Mark Way coming in third as well, 682.5. Very, very close races down as you go. Pavel ever present there. Some of his races in the C category below. In fact, I think Pavel was the only ever present. Special mention there as well to Ben Bishop, who took the first 4 wins in the B category, a second in the 6th race before jumping up to the A's. But again, huge congratulations, Chris, taking the B category win. Taking the race win in the C category, Connor Shaw taking all 60 points. Jerome Rinders just behind, and then George Evans, John Bitchell just getting to the line ahead of John Lee as well, and then Craig in 6th. On to the overall standings for the C category. These three have stayed pretty much the same over the last few races. Lindsay Connor, congratulations, taking the win with 579 points. George not quite being able to make up that 8-point gap in the last few races. John Lee taking third with 558, and Craig jumping up to take 4th place towards the end, and definitely taking full advantage of that new kicker bike. Congratulations there, Craig, as well. But yes, the race win, the league win, goes to Lindsay Connor. Huge congratulations. And the best category of them all, the D category, race 14, Andy Mott taking the win, 38.35. These are really close finishing times here. Ian Davis just behind. Harry Sophocles taking third. N. Ruddleston 35.36. Just a split few seconds behind. Latix as well taking 5th. Into the overall standings, Latix has been top of this leaderboard for quite some time now. Huge congratulations on the win there, Latix. 480.5 points. And ever present throughout, so well deserved. Nick Ruddleston in second, taking second with 473.5 points. Andy Mott, this was his 8th race, so jumping up from 5th place to 3rd to take the bronze medal on the last race. Congratulations, 471. Daniel C. Marks with 430, and then just behind Stewie D as well. Neil Brandon in there, ever present. Andrew Evans only missed 1 race, and myself down in 8th. I had a conversation with some of the guys who are helping me with the tour, saying should I or should I not get the points, because I didn't quite finish this race. I haven't given myself the points just because it wouldn't have made any difference whether I had them or not. So I just felt it was just best to leave them off because I didn't finish. But I'm quite happy coming in that position. Wish I'd got to do a few more of the races as the competition went on, but just life and stuff got in the way. So the guys that have been ever present throughout, massive kudos to you. And if you've only missed 2 or 3 races, it's absolutely amazing. It's been a great tour. It's been great fun. Let's have some special mentions to some of the guys who have stepped up throughout this tour. And there have been a few. Ben Bishop, Pavel Zizou, Wojciech Piatek, Graham Moore, Paul McMillan, Derek Ahern, Chris Cole, Chris Shanks, Connor Shaw, A. Hugavine, Neil Barber, Mark St. Clair, Olaf Hainel, Chris Cole, Rob C., Andrew Scott, and Sam Pye all did races at a higher level to the race category in which they started. 18 riders who jumped up a category at some point during the tour. That's amazing. And actually on the last race as well, Latix also got his upgrade up to the C category. So that's 19 riders across 6 months who have jumped up into a category above. Amazing. Not me though, unfortunately. And I totaled it up. We had 112 different riders join at least one of the races, which is that's a lot more than I would have expected. We have got a few people who came in for 1 or 2 races, and I know there's people who are situated elsewhere in the world who are on slightly different time zones to us, who could only make a couple of the races. But 112 people, that's amazing. I also want to say a massive thank you to some of the guys who helped out in the background. I had this idea many months ago, and they've helped just as a sounding board, but also come up with the point structures, the racing schedule, the sort of the discussions around what we do in category limits and stuff that changes partway through. So a massive thank you to Christopher, John, Colin, Daniel and Ben. Thank you for just being there and helping out, putting some of the results together and that stuff. And also a huge thank you to Chris Jupp, who does it for all of our races now, puts together our race schedule, sets everything up in the companion app, puts the posts up on the Discord channel, the Facebook group. So thanks, Chris, for your help as well. I can't believe we're through 6 months and we're at the end of it already. It felt like it would go on for a lot longer. So yeah, thank you to you guys for your help. We'll have a think about if we tackle this again next year, hoping we can automate some of the processes to make it a little bit easier to do. But we'll have a think about that over the next few months and decide whether we'll go again. Of course, I'm going to have a new baby in a few months' time, so I don't know what my time restrictions are going to be like, but we shall see, and hopefully it will be back for another world tour next year. We have a new channel supporter, Johannes Dreyer. Thank you so much for becoming a supporter on Buy Me a Coffee. I'll add you to the name of the list in this list of people coming up the screen right now. Thank you to everybody. Your support is amazing. If it's something you're interested in, head to buymeacoffee.com/target 2.5. Rides next week. We go back to we've got a 2-ride schedule at the moment. We've sort of stopped the Saturday morning rides just because we had low numbers, and I've got so much going on at the moment, just finding time to get on the bike. As you would have seen, anyone who's looking at how much riding I'm doing, my riding has fallen off a cliff the last couple of weeks. I've just life is happening, prep for the baby, other interests and things that I'm trying to get done as well. Just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. It's just life is happening. I just need to try and get on as often as I can. But our rides is T2.5. We have our Tuesday Trundle on Tuesday night, 7:30 UK time. We ride about 1.5 to 2 watts per kilo and hang around together as a group. And then the races that we have on Thursday night, 6:30 UK time. If you're interested in joining us for any of those, head to the description of this video where you'll find the links. You can join the Discord channel as well. We do have a Facebook group. It's slightly less busy now than it used to be. It's sort of headed over to Discord. So yeah, join one of those and come and say hello to everyone and join in. But that is the end of this video, the end of the World Tour. It's been great fun. I've just really enjoyed watching some of the sprints to the line, and just people pushing themselves. Early starters, late starters for different parts of the world. To think that you guys would do that to come along to one of our races is amazing. So thank you to everybody who's joined in a race. Thank you to everybody who's helped me out in the background get everything together. It's been so much fun, and maybe we'll do it again, but we shall see. But if you have enjoyed it, do hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.